Should be live here in just a second. Looks like we're up and moving. See if anyone stops in tonight. Hopefully they do. Can only hope. Troubled by a canker sore. No, I don't have herpes. Skip. All right. Well, hopefully everyone's having a good Friday so far. Happy Friday, Daniel. What's up, Matthew? It's a big day in the NFL. Well, I guess it's like a day before a big day in the NFL, right? Because tomorrow opens up the playoffs. You got Rams, Panthers, Packers, Bears. Pretty good opening header. And then, of course, like you have Sunday, it'll be Bills, Jags, 49ers, Eagles, Chargers, Patriots, then Texans and Steelers on Monday. Yeah, you guys have a huge game. It's going to be tough, I think, for the Bears. That's quite a heavy burden of a team to have to play right away. Damn, dude, he fell 58 yards short of the goal. I really can't believe the Lions held him to getting 5,000 or 4,000. That's quite a shame. He had probably the greatest single season as a Bears passing quarterback, right? I'd imagine 39-42 is the record for Chicago. So pretty much the single greatest season as a Bears quarterback, literally in franchise history. Congrats to Caleb Williams. I don't even mean that sarcastically. It's like, wow, the Bears actually have a quarterback. This is a pretty crazy development. Because again, for a team, I don't know. I don't know why they don't have more yards, but you know, bad start, I suppose. I guess I'm just used to Drake May having 4,300 already. Yeah, that's probably the key to that game is going to be if the Bears sort of get going early, they don't really let themselves fall behind. Because I feel like in the playoffs, a fourth quarter comeback is probably not going to happen. It'll happen in the regular season, but it feels so unlikely in the playoffs. And again, if you're the Bears, do you really want to push it to a third game coming down to the last 2 minutes of the game? You know what I mean? What's up, Seth? Boba is joining the Phillies. You think so? Pat should beat the Chargers. Hopefully we can beat them. Good luck to your Rams there, Daniel. You guys play the Panthers. Should be an easier game. You should win the rematch anyway. But yeah, for the Bears, they really don't want to like get down early and try to have to come back again. Because again, if that becomes your team's MO, teams are going to start playing to that and kind of making it impossible to come back into the fourth quarter, right? And you can do that. The Lions proved that you can do that to them, right? Because the Bears tried to do that and they just kind of ran out of the ability to do so. And the Lions were like, well, that sucks for you guys. So again, it's a very risky strategy to try to partake in. It's like this, like, I don't know. I don't know if a comeback team is the kind of team you want to put all your money in on the playoffs. It's like, oh, shit. And I feel like of all the teams they could have drawn, like, getting the Packers was about as bad a luck as it could have gotten. You know? Like, damn, that's really unfortunate for the Bears. Team they historically struggle against. The team they just beat last time they played, so it's kind of like in favor of the Packers. It's really hard to beat a division opponent twice in a row, you know what I mean? It's like it gets very challenging. You got Eagles beating Niners because Niners have injuries. Yeah, I'm probably going Eagles too. We'll get there though. I like the Eagles in that game as well. Home team. 49ers are kind of like, if you make them a throw-only team and you kind of take away McCaffrey, they kind of start to crumble offensively. And it appears that the Eagles have a fully healthy Jalen Carter, Jordan Davis, and everybody up front. And that kind of takes away the run game. So it's kind of one of those situations where you're like, oh, fuck. The 49ers may be in trouble here. Again, there's some weird matchups. Like, Had the Bears gotten the 49ers and the Eagles gotten the Packers, I don't, you know what I mean? I don't know how either of those two games play out, but I feel like it's just bad matchups for some of these teams. Like Rams Panthers. Well, anybody playing the Panthers was a bad matchup for Carolina, really. AFC's got some of the better games. Bills Jaguars should be really good. I don't know. 49ers Eagles will be good. Chargers Patriots should be a pretty fucking good affair. Houston Steelers. I don't think that's gonna. I think this has all the makings of the craziest Mike Tomlin win of all time. Mostly because everybody's kind of like, hey, the Steelers should probably lose that game. And like, by the way, this is just kind of like before we jump into all the games too specifically, you know. I feel like the Steelers are going to get one of the crazier upsets we've seen in a playoff game in a while. And they're going to do it in a very odd way, where it's like, and the Steelers kick 7 field goals and win the game 21-20. Like the fucking, like, it's like the Texans score 2 touchdowns and kick 2 field goals, but then the Steelers kick 7 field goals and they win the game 21-20. And everyone's like, Mike Tomlin did it again. And then the Steelers go on to lose the following week by like double digits. Like a 30-point beatdown. Like they lose 42-10. And everyone's like, how the fuck did that happen? That's how the Steelers playoffs are going to go. Crazy win, mostly because of Boswell. And Rodgers kind of getting them in position to kick the field goals. And then the Texans just, you know, they do all they can because their offense is so limited. It's like, well, we scored 20. We thought we'd win. And they just probably won't. I don't know. I'm probably wrong, though. Everybody's picking the Texans in that game, which, you know, makes sense, right? You'd think you see the Texans second. You see the Texans defensive front. Pass rush is lethal with Danielle Hunter and Will Anderson. So, you know. What games are you guys most excited for this weekend? Again, I'm most excited for the Patriots, obviously. All the other games don't really mean too much, but I would like to see. I guess I'm excited for the Jaguars Bills. That'll be a good game. I'll stream that one and the Patriots that day, and I'm also very interested to see how the NFC playoffs or the Bills or the Texans Steelers play out. I feel like I have more of a rooting interest in the AFC right now. I don't really care how the NFC plays out. For anyone listening, I'll ask another question. Does any two teams right now stand out as like, oh, these are here, we'll do it this way. This is a little bit more fun. I think we can start with this. Playoff predictor. I think we can just do this. Confirm. Okay, cool. Nice. Okay, we should just be able to click and everything comes out correctly. Oh, no, it's the wrong year. No, hold on. Wildcard round. There we go. Okay, here we go. They just don't have the pictures for some reason on this. Refresh it, see if it loads up. Oh, it does. Okay, cool. Yeah, we'll predict this and go through it all and blah, 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 blah. You think it'll be the Panthers or the Packers in the NFC? Oh no, you're just saying they win. Okay, yeah, I'm gonna go with the Rams and the Packers for the tomorrow games. And I don't really see any reason to switch my picks. Like theoretically, right? The Panthers did beat the Rams earlier in the year. You already ready for February? Oh, you get a new phone? Nice iPhone 17. Pretty cool. However, I don't know. It's just the Panthers lost those last 2 regular season games. It's never a good sign. Teams are 0-5 when coming in on a 2-game losing streak into the playoffs. That's something you should probably keep in mind for this game, right? That's probably for the Bears and the Panthers. Both lost their last 2 games and sort of you don't really want to stumble into the playoffs like that. That's called stumbling in, and it's like, oh boy. So that's kind of working against the Panthers. I think having played them and beat them, it kind of favors the Rams because, again, the Rams know exactly what they have to do to correct and actually win a rematch against the team, whereas the Panthers are like, maybe we'll get lucky a second time. Maybe they are underestimating us again, which I don't think the Rams have that, or the Panthers have that sort of benefit of the doubt here, where it's like, maybe the Rams kind of overlooked them, really weren't looking at them carefully. Now that it's the playoffs, it's like, well, now it's a different beast, right? You're getting a more focused team that's treating you like a team that's in the Super Bowl. So again, I wonder if the Panthers actually have the roster to deal with that. Again, they got away with that win last time, partially because, again, they kind of jumped them. And that's how, that's how dark horse teams end up making playoffs. You got to jump some of the good teams, and that's how they're here. So I don't know. I think the Rams should be able to win that. Shouldn't be too crazy of a game for the Rams. They should be able to run all over that defense, throw all over it, especially with the way the Panthers have looked the last couple of games. I hope the Panthers win, by the way. I want them to go on a crazy run, but just doesn't feel super likely, right? Host a bunch of NFC playoff games in Carolina. just ruin some team seasons because they have to go play at Carolina. Anyway, Packers Bears. I don't know. I feel like the Bears have needed miracles to beat the Packers or almost beat the Packers in the last two games, where it's like one very unlikely comeback that fell short, a comeback that happened because of like the rarest thing ever, which was like a botched onside kick recovery from the Packers, where the guy it just bounced right out of his hands, of Romeo Doubs. So it's like, yeah, that was kind of like a fluky ass win for the Bears. I don't really like it when a team has to like constantly come from behind against the team to have a chance to beat them, and that was the case for the Packers twice this year. If you remember game one, they fell just short on a DJ Moore pass, and then in the next time they played, it's like they were able to complete some kind of like, they got a big play for a walk-off. However, again, don't know if I really like that is how you have to beat them both times. Doesn't seem like there's a scenario to which the Bears can just get a healthy lead on the Packers and kind of beat them that way. It seems like they need walk-off theatrics. They need big plays at the end of the game. And I feel like when you're in a playoff situation against a team that just beat you, like a team you just beat, who's going to be hyper-focused to get revenge, and again, you're struggling coming in 0-2 off the last two games, you kind of got beat pretty badly. One being a comeback attempt that fell short. So again, that's kind of on the mind. I don't know. It's just this interesting stacking of situations where I think the Packers can take advantage of it. They haven't been playing that great either coming into this, but I don't know. They kind of, that last game for them didn't really count because they just shut the whole team down. There's like, well, we'll, and again, the Packers have some rest going. That might help them out. Who knows? And again, the Packers kind of own the Bears, so it's really hard to pick against Green Bay when it comes to like, Green Bay, Chicago. I think Bears and Packers would be a fun game because I got Bears winning because Parsons is not bad. Well, Parsons won't be back till next year. He hurt his whole knee up. As an Eagles fan, you hope they fired Kevin Patullo? Maybe. They probably will. Kind of depends on how the playoffs go. So yeah, so those are kind of how we see that. So we'll make our first two selections of the Rams. And then the Packers. So it would set up Rams versus Packers most likely. Kind of depends on who we end up having winning in the next couple games. And then we'll make predictions from this going forward up to the Super Bowl and all that and blah, 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 blah. So kind of going ahead here. We have the Bills and the Jaguars. An interesting game. Fun facts about the Bills. I don't know if anyone knows these. Do you guys know the Bills haven't won a playoff game on the road since 1992? That's a long time. So, yeah. All right. Bills Jaguars. Also, Josh Allen's 0-5 on the road in the playoffs. He's yet to win a road playoff game. Kind of some shocking statistics, right? And then you have to remember that the Jaguars have the better Josh Allen and Joshua Allen Hines. the more humble Josh Allen, who willingly put the hyphen in his last name for the ego of one Joshua Lee Allen. This is the first time. Is this your first time ever not seeing KC in the playoffs, Seth? Most of my life, Kansas City didn't make the playoffs. Them being good was a recent phenomenon. And one thing, kind of an off tangent here, about Kansas City that most people don't really understand or know about, the reason they were so bad for so long isn't like, oh, it like they have a bad owner, like like everything about that team except for the fact that they drafted Mahomes and Travis Kelce and Tyreek Hill and a couple good players on defense every so often. Like, they don't do well in putting a team together, paying players to stay, convincing players to come in free agency, if you haven't noticed. Like, no really all-star players go and sign in Kansas City or, like, want to stay there very long, except, like, Mahomes and Kelce and Chris Jones. It's, like, three people that everyone else, like, kind of leaves. Despite the fact that, like, they could be a dynasty. Like, you know, you don't really see, like, that too often. And, again, they don't really replenish anything in Kansas City. They don't draft well. Again, they got lucky because Travis Kelce fell in the draft because he was kind of retarded and was like unable to pass drug tests and shit like consistently at Cincinnati. So the Jason Kelce kind of begged Andy Reid to take a shot at him, and it worked out. Travis turned out to be a really great player, a Hall of Famer, like one of the greater tight ends of all time because he got his shit together. Cool, that worked out for him. Tyreek Hill, that worked out for him while it did. He was like beating up his girlfriend who was pregnant in college. That's why he fell, and Kansas City was able to grab him. They took a shot. And then, of course, like you can see that with like taking risky players like Rashee Rice, players who kind of have these like weird reputations. They have no problem drafting them. Again, kind of a testament to Andy Reid thinking that guys deserve a second shot. Cool, I'm all for it. But a really risky thing to keep doing that, right? It doesn't always work out like a fucking Travis Kelce or a Tyreek Hill for the most part. Tyreek's in a little bit of trouble now, I think, but you know, for a few years he was doing pretty good. And then he got really lucky with Mahomes, right? Like he developed him in the right way, took a guy who fell in the draft literally only because he played in the last little bit of an era of prejudice towards system quarterbacks out of air raid offenses. Like if Mahomes had come out of college 3 years sooner, he would have never played in the NFL. Like nobody would have gave a fuck. Like they wouldn't have took him seriously. Because again, for a while, before a lot of you guys probably started watching football, or right when you started, there was this idea that quarterbacks who come from air raid offenses and who come from these heavy system throwing offenses are no good for NFL teams, right? Because again, they need like a certain system to succeed. Too much heavy throwing, they can't like convert to a standard NFL offense. So you would see guys like Graham Harrell, Colt Brennan, like these really like really great quarterbacks who had the same kind of thing as Mahomes just get completely ignored and never utilized or taken seriously in the NFL, despite like every preseason both of these guys would ball the fuck out, and it's like, man, why didn't they give him a shot? Like Colt Brennan had one of the greatest preseasons of all time probably, and he just never got an opportunity to play. And it's a real damn shame because it's like, again, had they come like 5 to 6 years later, they would have gotten a shot because again, the NFL stopped caring so weird about like air raid offenses in like 2015 or 2016. Mahomes literally was like the first year they stopped giving a shit about it, and they drafted one of the all-time greats so it's like, how many other all-time great quarterbacks could have potentially been passed over because of this weird prejudice to a certain style of offense in the NFL? So I'll always give Andy Reid and the Chiefs a little bit of credit for what they did in terms of like completely changing that about the way quarterbacks are evaluated. Now no one gives a shit about like a system court. Like that's not a thing anymore. You know what I mean? No one goes, oh, it's a system quarterback, he won't work it. Like that's not even like a negative thing anymore. Like if you were deemed a system QB 10, 15 years ago before Mahomes, you were never going to get drafted. That was the end. It's like, fuck, you're ruined. Hurts? No, he wasn't. Mahomes is playing really good this year. All right, anyway, back to the Bills-Jaguars. So the Bills have all these problems. Jaguars are the Jaguars. They play pretty good at home. They have a very good rush. So I believe how this works for the Jaguars is they play a pretty good overall defense. It's like a good, consistent, like, hey, we do this well, we do that well. But one of the things they do really, really well is take away the run from teams. So one of the things the Bills do extremely well, or need to do really well to kind of get their offense going, is run the football. Did everybody leave? Damn, the whole stream's gone. Is there anyone even still here? Or did the stream just come to an end? We have 2 likes. That's nice. Okay, so it's just not counting correctly. All right, cool. I just wanted to kind of see what kind of audience we have and everything, because it's like, it says 1 on my end. So it's not counting me being here, Seth, so it's only 1 person's here. Could just be 2. Probably is. Either way, we'll finish what we started. So Jaguars will probably be able to take away the run, which means the Bills' kind of limited pass game has to take over. Josh Allen has to kind of take over with the bad foot. That's always kind of like, hey, can an injured player really do these kind of things? Is this something you kind of want to put a lot of eggs in the basket of a team that can't really run the ball as well as they want to? Stream's been running the whole time. Unless it crashed. So, I don't know. I just feel as though until we see really, again, the biggest problem for this game is like Josh Allen's not a good road playoff quarterback. 0-5. Or 0-4, 0-5. One of those. I know most of those are AFC championship losses, but it's like, you know, don't like that. Don't like that the Bills are just a team that loses on the road in the playoffs. Those are like 2 things that stick in my head. Normally they wouldn't, but when the numbers start getting quite large into like 5, 6 games, the Bills haven't won on the road since '92 in the playoffs. It's like, what? It's like that statistic where it's like, until like a couple years ago, the Minnesota Twins hadn't won a playoff baseball game since like 2004. And it's like, that's not possible. They make the playoffs like every year. What are you talking about? Yeah, Jags play very good balanced defense. So again, that's like a really scary thing for a team like the Bills, and they specialize in taking away the run. So it's going to come down to the Bills, very limited receivers against a pretty good secondary for Jacksonville, with a hurt Josh Allen. So you know what I mean? It's like all these layers start to really kind of compound against the Bills offense. That has struggled this year at times against good defenses. Like a defense that can stop the run really fucks the Bills up. That's why they lost to the Patriots that first game. They could not get the run going whatsoever because the Patriots at the beginning of the year, when they had Spillane and when they had Milton Williams healthy, like they were impossible to run on. So we kind of see like the keys here. And I think the Bills defensively, they're good, but it's like they can be beat. We've seen it all year. And again, the Jaguars can run the football very, very well. And again, what the Bills do really well is take away the pass. So again, if you can run the ball really well, the Bills have really no answer to that. And the Jaguars can run the ball very effectively. And again, that kind of makes it really hard for me to go, oh yeah, the Bills are going to go win a road playoff game against a team they don't match up well against. And have struggled against like a lot. Like the Jaguars are like this team's Achilles heel. If you're a Bills fan, this was one of the matchups you just didn't want to get. It's like, fuck, dude. I think the Bills really wanted the Patriots, and they did not want to play the fucking Jaguars. It was just like, damn it. Don't know why they didn't try harder to get the 5 seed to play Pittsburgh. Like, that's a game they probably would have won. Actually, I don't think so. I think Pittsburgh's winning at least one playoff game. So we'll go with the where's the Jags? Jaguars. 49ers versus Eagles. That's a fun game. One of the better fun matchups. We already kind of talked about this a little bit. So I probably won't spend like a ton of time on this game. Because it's kind of like in my head, it's like, by the way, if you guys could drop some likes, that would really be helpful for the stream. I'd appreciate it. We have like 2 likes right now, which isn't great, but appreciate the one person who's dropped a like. If anyone else can, it'd be really cool. So Eagles, 49ers. So kind of thinking about this game, the 49ers are another one of those teams that kind of like really depend on the run game to kind of get everything kind of going, right? So if McCaffrey's not playing really well, the whole team kind of starts to stumble and fall apart. And again, like I pointed out earlier, the Eagles have a very healthy Jordan Davis, a very healthy Jalen Carter. And when that's happening, they're a very hard defense to like throw the football on, run the ball on. And again, so you have those two guys. They're gonna take away the run. That's 1,000%. The Eagles are going to be like, all right, Brock Purdy, beat us through the air, beat our secondary without Christian McCaffrey. So like that's literally what we're going to see in this game. And I just don't think I don't think Brock Purdy can do that. Now, if I'm proven wrong and Purdy lights these dudes up, I'm fine with that. I don't mind being wrong, but it's like that's one of the better secondaries in football. Purdy hasn't really shown us he can light up a defense without McCaffrey being a problem for a defense. And if they take away McCaffrey, like the Eagles are probably going to do, that's, you know what I mean? This is going to be like a low-scoring, like 16-13 Eagles win. And it's like, it's got it written all over it. Because, again, the 49ers defense will shut the Eagles' kind of crappy offense down. But, again, that crappy offense usually can scrape and claw. It's all the way up to just enough to win. And their defense is good enough to have that kind of offensive effort. Because as bad as they are, they do play decent complementary football. So if like the Eagles get a turnover, they generally go score points. You know what I mean? So it's like, oh boy, and the 49ers cough the football up quite a bit. A lot of picks, a lot of turnovers. So, you know, you don't really like those kind of things in a game like that. Plus, like, it's going to be like kind of shitty weather, kind of colder. I don't know how the 49ers react to that. I'm sure Purdy will be fine. He's from Idaho. But, you know. Plus, like, Barkley seems well rested, but, you know. I don't know. That seems like a pretty standard game. So that sets the NFC divisional round. That would put the the Seahawks versus Packers and Eagles versus... Wait, oh no, I meant Rams. Yeah, there we go. And then it would be Eagles versus Rams. That's a pretty fun one. All right, now the game of the century. The New England Patriots host the the Los Angeles Chargers. Fun game. Very, very interesting game. It's a matchup of like the things the Chargers do well on defense are the things the Patriots do well on offense. So it's strength versus strength, and you have to wonder who comes out the winner. And that's kind of the fun part of this game. It's kind of like that all throughout. Like what the Chargers do well on offense, the Patriots defend extremely well. So it's kind of like, oh shit, what do we have going on here? So the X factor to me in this game, like it is to everybody else, is going to be 3 things. 1, Chargers offensive line. If it plays poorly, the Chargers will probably lose. Even though the Patriots don't rush the passer well, and this will set up my second point pretty well too. Even though the Patriots don't really rush the passer that well and kind of like get a lot of pressure the last 4 or 5 weeks, it's been pretty bad. They were like middle of the pack, kind of like 10 through 13 that's the start of the year, but have fallen off incredibly hard over since like week 12. But that was when they lost Milton Williams and Spillane consistently to injury. Those 2 guys are back, and that is huge for the Patriots. So when they have Milton Williams and Barmore on the field together, they like are one of the great. They're like number 1 and 2 in creating pressure when on the field together for like interior defensive linemen. They're very, very good on the field together. So again, bad offensive line, especially bad guard play and bad tackle play up against 2 of the better nose tackles or interior defensive linemen in Barmore and Milton Williams. So again, that doesn't really bode well for the rest of them. And again, then a very opportunistic players like Chason and Gibbons will be flying in off the edge all game. So again, the Patriots do have a pass rush, especially against a bad offensive line. Enough to where we can create pressure all game and kind of keep Herbert off his balance and maybe keep him making rush throws. And again, with a secondary as good as the Patriots have, that'll kind of lead to some bad throws, maybe a few picks. And really, all it takes is 1 or 2 bad things to happen to the Chargers, and that team just, they blow up. They don't really handle like fuck up. They when they fuck up in the playoffs every single year, they shit their pants. They implode quick. So again, the idea here is if you're the Patriots, again, you're the home team. You kind of want to take advantage of the bad offensive line, kind of put a lot of early pressure on them, utilize the fact that you got a couple guys back healthy. And again, now that they have their players sort of healthy and Milton Williams and Spillane, that also improves their run defense because prior to those two guys getting hurt, our defense there wasn't a single player in the NFL that had ran for 50 yards against the Patriots prior to those injuries. What does that tell you? Well, when those guys come back from injuries, the run game, which is now very good against the Patriots, probably dies. And if the Chargers think they're just going to run the ball all over us and didn't really kind of consider who's healthy, that could really fuck their game plan up. And I know most likely they kind of know that. However, I've been surprised before. Remember a couple years ago when I said the Eagles will beat the Chiefs in the Super, I think that was last year, when I said if the Eagles because the Chiefs play a very specific kind of like short, bursty offense. And one of the ways that the Eagles were built and styled to play defense was to beat an offense like Kansas City. Very smart, right? They're the team that you're kind of chasing for titles. So the Eagles, like, I figured the Kansas City Chiefs would change up kind of what they do on offense, considering the fact that the defense they're playing is perfect for their offense. Now, I kind of turn around and think like, oh, the Chargers will most likely change what they're going to do and not run the football with all of our guys being healthy. Maybe they still decide, hey, the Patriots haven't been able to stop the run for 7 weeks, and they just their game plans to run the shit out of it, right? It wouldn't turn out good for them, you know? But I don't know. I just feel like the Patriots have an advantage here because of that line. We haven't seen a line this bad in a long time. I don't know. The Patriots also play good football, right? Like, they're decent on offense. They score a good amount of points. May's having a great year. They run the ball extremely well with both their running backs. I don't know. They'll probably, again, the Chargers play great defense. It's going to be a low-scoring game. But I like the Patriots. I'm going to go with them. Not because I'm a fan or anything. That's irrelevant. All right, last game of the weekend will be, I guess it's Monday Night Football. Last Monday Night Football game will be Texans Steelers. Yeah, Lane Johnson's also back. That's big for the Eagles. Maybe their offense will be a lot better too. I don't know. Texans Steelers, right? So the probably general consensus here is that the Texans will win this game. Pass rush will be too much. Steelers offense is kind of dog shit. Aaron will be on the run for his life all game with that Steelers offensive line. And I tend to agree. I don't actually think the Steelers will score any touchdowns in this game. I think they'll win on like 7 or 8 field goals. And the Texans will score touchdowns and lose this game. Only because everybody's picking against the Steelers. All the money's on the Texans. Like, now, in any other situation, that would be the right move. This is like picking against the Panthers. However, do you really think this is the kind of game Mike Tomlin loses? Just stop and think about that one question. I don't have a really good reason as to why I'm going with an upset here, by the way. There's no reason to pick the Steelers in this game. They should get the shit beat out of them. But again, there's like one small thread you can pull on for the Steelers, and it's the fact that the last time we saw the Steelers game, their defense looked so fucking cracked out and so energetic and alive because of TJ Watt. I almost wonder if he can do, and that defense can do just enough to hold the Texans to like 14 points, and the Steelers kick like 7 field goals, just win the game on some horse shit like, and the Steelers win 21-17 or 21-17 or 21-20. And it's just like, well, son of a bitch, how'd they pull that off? Just some Steelers horse shit. And then again, the following round, they lose by like 40 points. And again, that's how the Steelers season's going to go. We all know they're going to somehow, we all know the Texans will win, but deep down, I think we all are fully aware or will not even be a little bit surprised if the Steelers win that game in the most stupid way possible. and just the dumbest. And then everyone will overconfident on the Steelers in the next round and pick them to. Oh no, I don't like this at all. Would we play the Bills or the Jags no matter what? No, okay. Ooh, you know what? Kind of want the Bills to win that game though. What's your theory on the Steelers winning? This is our predictions for how these play out now, so everyone can kind of just see them. Bobichette's going to the Phillies on Wednesday. What was up, politics? Good luck this on Sunday. I hope you know I think it's going to be a very, very close game. But the fact that Spillane and Milton Williams and Landry and pretty much everybody but Tonga is healthy on my defense, I have a bad feeling about how that's actually going to play out. Did you know that Barmore and Milton Williams, when on the field together, are the top 1 and 2 rated defensive tackles for pressure? I think since 1991, the Steelers haven't lost. Yeah, the Steelers also never lose. Yeah, the Steelers also never lose on Monday night at home. Dog, it's like set up for a Steelers upset. Oh, Henderson will be all right. He had a personal problem. There's nothing wrong with his health. He should be able to. He should be good for the game. He had to attend to some personal issues. I watched the press conference, and Mike seemed like it wasn't the end of the world. Yeah, I hope Hampton plays. But again, I think a big problem. Again, you know how we've been bad against the run too, politics, and you may hope that your team is just going to run it down our throats. We were the number 1 run defense until Milton Williams and Robert Spillane got hurt. Guess who's back? Guess who could not run the ball against us at all was the Jets. I'm talking like night and day difference from the way we handled the run. It was pretty great. That's also how we upset the Bills earlier in the season. They couldn't run the ball against us. And that's how teams found out how to beat Buffalo, by the way. We blueprinted them. Take away their run, they can't beat teams. If you can stop James Cook, they fucking lose. Because they have no passing attack right now. It's literally horrible. They need to go get some receivers. Like really bad in Buffalo. Also, people talk about I think it's supposed to be good weather. Yeah, and you guys played well the last time you were in cold weather. I don't much care about the weather discussion. If it was snowing, I would kind of favor the Patriots a little bit, but I don't really think that matters. I think ultimately the biggest X factor is that offensive line situation. Man, that's a bad line. Politics. I'm sorry that's kind of the matchup you. Damn. I mean, you guys did get the best matchup possible because we're not the biggest like get after the QB team. That's kind of one of our things we just don't do very well. We got to get us a pass rusher. That's why we're one of the favorites to get Max Crosby, by the way, because we just don't have a pass rush. And we're kind of in a really good spot where we have $1 billion in the offseason and kind of like 4 needs to really fill in like fucking edge rusher's the number 1, I think. So, I don't know. It's interesting. That should be one hell of a game. I expect your defense to keep us very... do you guys... Is there something you don't do well on defense, or is it a balanced thing where it's like, no, we do everything well? Because you guys are good against tight ends, and that's a big problem for us. Yeah, and the Patriots, when they have their Spillane and Williams, really defend the run well. Landry plays really well off Milton and Barmore. It becomes a real problem. Little runs. Okay, so we'll probably run the shit out of it with Henderson and Stevenson then. All right. Well, let's do a little bit of fun predicting now. This will be interesting. Seahawks versus Packers. Who do we think goes to the conference championship? If this is the matchup, I'm gonna go. Oh boy, what a fucking matchup! This is a hard game because again, the history between the two teams. I would probably go with the Seahawks. Seth, your team can't physically afford to add Max Crosby to their roster. You guys are very good with money, but you guys are like, some of your players are about to have like $80 million cap hits. You guys are done kicking caps. You guys are actually going to have a bad year coming up as far as money goes. Kind of like the Saints just did this year finally. The Saints just finally had the bad money year, by the way. I think they're not negative cap for the first time in what, a decade? They're not in terrible cap. Well, I want to look. Let's go take a look. Did they finally get over it? I think they're 19 in the hole. That's not that bad. That's not that bad, actually. That's pretty good. One more bad year for the Saints, and they're out of cap hell. Nice. Good job by New Orleans. They got out of it. See, that's all you got to do if you're a team in cap hell. One bad year, then do it again this year. New Orleans has no reason to panic. Just have another bad year. Just eat the fucking cap, eat the dead cap, move on, and then you'll be at like 100. Let's see. I should have looked at that. If they eat the dead cap this year, what does that look like? Because I think that put them at like 150 in 2027. Yeah, 144 if they just fucking eat the dead cap. And then 28, they're at 200. You see what I mean? They go from, in 2020, like this year right now, at the start of the calendar year, they'll be about 19 million in the hole. Next year, when the year starts, they'll be at 144 million. So if they don't do something stupid and borrow against this, or borrow against the 271 they have, they will literally pull themselves out of cap hell and be in completely normal. Again, it takes 2 years to fix. Cap hell is really not that hard. And the Eagles probably have to do that for a couple years coming up. Imagine the Chargers, Seahawks, Super Bowl. That would be pretty fun. 2 top 5 defenses, really low scoring, like Rams and Pats from 2019, which is really funny because the Patriots defense was dog shit in 2019, comparative to what it usually was. And the Rams were really good at defense, so that wasn't too surprising. People thought that Patriots-Rams game was going to be a shootout because of the way the two teams were scoring in the playoffs. They were both scoring like 45 points a game. It was unreal. Yeah, I'll probably go Seahawks in this game if this matchup happens, just because the defense. If this matchup happened, probably the Rams, right? That would probably be the matchup. You got Bears reading Green Bay. I don't have that matchup happening. I don't like the fact that the Bears needed miracles to beat Green Bay, like a really not that great Green Bay team, and they're. You know what I mean? Like an unhealthy Green Bay team, they needed a miracle to beat. Now they're up against Green Bay, the healthiest they've been in a month. Yeah, well-rested Green Bay. Yeah, good luck. I've seen that movie too many times. What do we think? Again, the Bears should win that game. It's just I can't pick the Bears over the Packers. It's like a thing I can't do. It's like a personal thing. It's a personal problem. Hey, we're up at 5 likes. That's pretty good. If you haven't dropped one yet, maybe we can get double digits if everyone drops one. I'll go with Rams. The Rams are a better team than the Eagles. I think if this matchup happened, it would probably be the Rams beating them. Again, I don't like the Eagles offense, and I think the kind of shitty. I think the Rams defense shuts it completely down if they were to meet. Jaguars aren't a very good football team. To be honest, they're kind of frauds. They can beat the Bills because the Bills are also a bad football team. Now, if we were to play the Jaguars, we can get our revenge from 2017. You may be wondering, but you beat the Jaguars in 2017. What do you mean revenge? We'd get our revenge from all those whiny-ass Jaguars fans who for 8 straight fucking years, 9 straight now, we're at 9 straight years of it, they still complain because Miles Jack was offsides by a foot. Dog, they're like, why'd they take away this Myles Garrett interception play, or this Miles Jack play? Because he was offsides. You crybaby fucking oh my God, dude. It's as bad as the Chiefs fans, dude. Like, Chiefs fans, when we beat them in that 2019 game, they still cry about Chris Jones being called offside. They're like, why didn't this count? Like, then they look at the Chris Jones's arm is past the ball. It's like, well, maybe that's why. Dumbasses. Holy shit, dude. I genuinely hope that if this happens, we get some good revenge on them. We blow them out. God, I hate the Jaguars fans. I like the Jaguars as a team. I really like Trevor Lawrence. But this is my playoff predictions, and guess who's going to win the Super Bowl this year? What up, Fernando? What up, Jake? Nice to see y'all. By the way, if you guys could drop some likes, we could really use them. Yeah, I have no issue with the Jaguars. But I also don't think, I think it'll be freezing cold in that game because the Colts, like, again, I don't know how well they'll do in cold weather, especially their Southern boy QB. Our Southern quarterback plays in New England, so he's used to it. And then I think the Broncos would beat the Steelers pretty good. This sets up a very fun AFC and NFC championships for me. Our old rival, the Broncos, one of our true rivals, and the Rams Seahawks. I think this is pretty good. This is something that would make everybody pretty happy to watch. But it would give us the iconic Brady, Foles, Bortles, Keenan. This would be, someone right at the beginning of the year said, this is going to be a reality again, isn't it? Oh, I don't care about that. This is going to happen again. You have them, so you would have the Steelers going to the NFC. That would be interesting. Either way, no matter how this plays out, the Patriots got to play a bitter-ass rival, and I'd really like to get revenge on that butt-fucking-ass team. Hypotheticals all year. Fernando, and our hypotheticals with the Patriots are only getting more. You know, the one thing we've been correct about, though, Fernando, all year, is that we were going to win this goddamn division, and that we're going to have some fun in the playoffs. I think I'm going to stick with the Broncos in this. Yeah, I think they'd beat the Steelers. Again, I think the Steelers are just a lucky-ass, fluke-ass win, and they get blown out by Denver. I don't think the Steelers' offense can beat the Denver Broncos defense. Then there's a lot of rematch potential in all of these. These are all like weird rematch Super Bowls, except the Rams-Broncos. Which team do the Patriots want revenge on? Oh, this is tough. Boy, this is a tough one. Well, my team isn't going to lose to Denver. We're not going to lose to fucking Bo Nix or Drew Lock or whatever the fuck his name is out there. We beat them. So we'd be going back to the Super Bowl. Not a surprise there. By the way, if your team is in the playoffs and your bracket doesn't look exactly like mine, you're not a fan of your team. You're a pretender. You genuinely don't care for your team. Like your bracket should not, unless you're a Patriots fan, your bracket should not look like mine if you're a fan of a team. Like for politics, his bracket should look exactly like mine, but with the Chargers winning the Super Bowl. Like, well, it's like if you don't have your team at this point winning the Super Bowl, you're a bad fan. If I don't have your team winning, yeah, of course I don't. My team's in the playoffs. I'm not taking this shit serious. My team's in it. We're winning the fucking Super Bowl. Like that's how a fan should be right now. There's no room for analytics and logical thinking here. I need the best matchup for my team to win, and you know who I want to see? You know who I really want to see? Because I do think this would happen. I think somehow the Seahawks pull out. No, it'd probably be the Rams, wouldn't it? Rams-Seahawks is a tough game. Sam Darnold versus the Patriots is so funny, though. And then Darnold just shits his pants because it's the Patriots, throws 4 interceptions and loses the game. He has another, I'm still seeing ghosts. I'd be like, oh no. Or Sam Darnold's driving down to win just like Russell Wilson, and for some reason they throw it on the goal line again. Be like, damn, they shouldn't have did that. That's crazy. We won 2 Super Bowls against them like that. I don't know, though. I wouldn't really be surprised if the AFC plays out with the Patriots winning it. We're not that bad of a team. I think I'd probably go with Rams. I don't, because again, the biggest problem for me is the Seahawks are a very turnover prone offense, and the Rams probably don't take their eye off the fastball again. That's why they lost that game. They took their eye off the fastball despite all the Rams. Like, if you could just not shit your pants against the Seahawks and take advantage of 3 of their 8 turnovers a game, you probably beat them. Yes, Sam, the ghosts, they're back. MVP versus the MVP wannabe Matthew Stafford. Drake May's one of Drake May's biggest supporters, Matthew Stafford. When Drake was growing up, he met a little boy. He was weird looking. He had a bad back. He played for the Lions. And he said, "Hey kid, keep your chin up. One day you'll be a star." That kid turned out to be Matthew Stafford. You didn't know that, did you? It's kind of weird. They keep saying I really hope they don't give Matt Stafford a fucking lifetime accomplishment MVP, which is probably what they're about to do, because they fucking don't want to give us the awards. We're not even going to get to be first team all. We're going to be second team all pro with Drake, man. That shit's so fucking annoying. It's like, no, yeah, the completely statistical, way better quarterback than fucking Matt Stafford. It's fine. He threw 10 more touchdowns. Yeah, that's totally worth MVP. Fucking bullshit. Oh, it would be, because we'll take away their run game completely, and then they have to throw it up against us, and we have Gonzalez covering Devontae or Puka, and then we have Carlton Davis on the other guy. How do we play? Who knows? That's kind of a toss-up. And we can run and throw against that defense that really ain't shit. I don't know. I feel like we could win this game. Again, the path to a Patriots Super Bowl is wide open. I don't think the NFC is as good as everyone says it is. I don't really think the AFC is that good. I genuinely think we may be the best team in football right now. And I don't even feel bad saying that. I'm like, we're 14-3 for a reason. Oh, the schedule. Do you know that we would have 4 more teams with an above 500 record if they hadn't played us? Ravens. Dolphins twice. Who the fuck else was it? Buccaneers. You know that? We beat teams so badly that like there were 4 teams that if they had just beaten us, they would have been 500 or better. So like when you see the Patriots have only, end up playing the season with just 1 team over a 500 record, it's a very misleading stat. Because it diminishes the idea that like we did beat the Ravens. Like we're one of also the Ravens on that list too. So that's like 5 teams that we actually are the reason they didn't finish with an above, unless I said them. Yeah. Like the Falcons. But they finished fucking 7 and 8 or 8 and 9. Oh yeah, add the Falcons to the list too. Son of a bitch. That's like 6 teams that if they would have beat us, they'd have had an above 500 record. Saints, yeah, everybody was kind of struggling with the Saints there for a while. Yeah, the Bengals, wow, surprise. Bengals with Jamar Chase and... You believe that? There were like 6 teams we played that should have had above 500 records if they'd have beaten the lowly, shitty Patriots, but the Patriots beat them and they finished under 500. Yeah, Michaels is going to come back. So again, when you see the above 500 thing, when was also, by the way, have you ever heard strength of schedule talked about so much? Please ask yourself that question. Have you ever heard strength of schedule talked about so much? Be honest. I never have. You're good, Fernando. Politics. Be honest with me. Have you ever cared or talked or heard people talk about a team's strength of schedule this much? And have you ever heard it brought up in the context of MVP before? Yeah, I was gonna say you guys lost to the fucking Giants. I don't really want to hear. It's like us losing to the Raiders. I don't really understand how fucking Chargers fans like you guys lost to the Raiders, dude. It's like, yeah, you guys lost to the fucking Giants. Yeah, that's college football. You never have once in your entire life heard strength of schedule or ever talked about with MVP. It's not even a voting factor. If people voted on strength of schedule and they gave Josh Allen the MVP after he had the 29th easiest schedule last year when the season ended, what the fuck are we doing? It's not a thing. Like last year, Lamar played like the 4th hardest schedule. Josh played the 29th. Nobody gave a fuck about it. Literally 0 people cared. It was never once brought up. Not Ravens fans didn't even care, dude. The only time you've ever heard strength of schedule talked about this much, go back to 2019 when the Patriots still had Tom Brady. You will see people go, the Patriots are only good because they play the AFC East. I promise you, there is only one NFL team in like ever that you ever hear the fucking schedule talked about, and this was 20 straight years with Tom Brady of this shit, dude. Every year this was the talk with my football team from like 2004 to fucking he left. And then they finally stopped talking about the goddamn schedule. And the second we're good again, guess what's back? Yeah, that's the only time it should be brought up is it in a tie, and we won the division fair and square because we beat them. Because they couldn't beat the Falcons and we did. Woo, that's why we won the division, and they couldn't sweep us. Sorry, Buffalo, should have swept us. God, dude, it's the worst, weakest argument I've ever. Again, you don't know if somebody was a schedule merchant. Like, okay, say the Patriots play the Chargers and we get blown out 40-10 again. Oh, yep, we were schedule merchants. Do you see how easy that would be to admit? Like, damn, yeah, we kind of did. We ate off that schedule, huh? Oh, well, we're a young team. We had a good year. We'll be back next year. Just got to build up the team a little bit, fix where we got some holes. First playoff times are a little weird, a little rough. You know what I mean? It's not that crazy. Like, it's not the end of the world. It's not like we don't. It's not like we're aware of like, you know. Again, we'll find out on Sunday if we're schedule merchants or not. If not, again, one playoff game, and I never want to. If we beat the Chargers, I never want to hear about the schedule ever again. Like literally, I will call you a bad foot. I'll say you don't understand football fundamentally if you still, after a playoff game, are like they only won because the schedule. It's like, what are you? They beat a playoff team, dog, and that's how you had to always consider with the Patriots. With Brady, it's like, well, if they win a playoff game, that goes for every team, by the way. If the Bears beat the Packers, they're a good, like they're not a schedule merchant. Doesn't matter they played a last place schedule. They did what they did. You know what I mean? So again, a lot of that shit does not matter. Again, on Monday afternoon, or Monday evening, we'll know if teams made it or not because of the schedule. You know, Monday morning, really, because the Texans and Steelers aren't scheduled. Really, just the Patriots are. You know what's crazy is the Bills played a schedule like 0.004 harder than the Patriots, and 0 people have talked about the Bills having only played like 3 games. Like the Patriots are like 2-2 or something, and the Bills are like 2-3 against teams over 500. It's like, what? Like the same fucking like the Bills have just about as easy a schedule and no one has said a word about it. Like not even like I'm the only person who has mentioned that the Bills have an easy schedule too. Everyone goes, yeah, but they played the Eagles and the Chiefs, dude. The Chiefs, wow. What a game. Yeah, that Eagles game was actually really good. That's a good one to bring up. Congrats. Yeah, that was a good one. Good. Wow, you beat the 2025. We would have beat the Chiefs too, dog. They didn't finish with a 500 record. Idiots. And you know who gets no talk about their schedule is the Denver Broncos, dog. that horseshit ass schedule that they had this year. Oh my God, dude. They're like the third hardest. They're literally 0.10 up on the Patriots, and they're talking shit like, dude, they had the easiest schedule of all time. With like no irony. Like zero. It'd be like if the Bills were like, at least Bills fans barely bring up the schedule because they kind of just say they're going to beat us because they don't care because we're shitty. It's like, all right, fine. I respect Buffalo shit talking because, again, they're the least likely to bring up the schedule. Your fan base, though, dude, politics, I'm sorry, but you guys are fucking idiots about the schedule shit. You're like, we played a harder schedule, we're going to win. That doesn't mean anything. Literally, that means absolutely fuck all. What does that mean? You played harder teams. Wow, you're playing us now. That doesn't mean, what, just because you played a team that plays dramatically different styles of football than us and you beat them, what does that mean? Wow, cool. Did you play us and beat us? If you did, we have the edge in game too. Like, fucking stupid. Dude, I'll give Chargers fans credit. You guys are consistent about schedule shit talk. You guys have gone after the Bills for their weak ass schedule, the Chargers for their or the Denver Broncos for their weak ass schedule. Us, I'll give you credit. You're consistent about it, but it's also dumb. It's a dumb argument. I would never once denigrate the Broncos. Really great. Like, the Broncos had a phenomenal season. They're 14-3. They deserved the AFC West. They beat the Raiders when we couldn't. Raiders are a good football team for some reason, only when they play us. It's historic. Dude, the Raiders get revenge every time they play us. And everyone's like, how did the Raiders beat you? Dog, they think it's the Tuck rule still. They're stuck in 2001 on a snowy-ass field. They're like... They think that if they had won that game, that was their franchise success. And we stole it from them. And they play us with reckless fucking abandon. And Pete Carroll, we'd never beat Pete Carroll. Fuck that guy, dog. He had to get revenge on us too, and he always does for that Super Bowl shit. Yeah, who's right, who's right. You know, we'll see how it plays out. It'll be interesting. It'll be really, really... And by the way, I would have the Patriots winning the third matchup and sweeping the Rams in the Super Bowl. We would win again. Number 7, baby. Can you imagine how annoying that would be at the end of the year? At the end of this year, the fall of the Kansas City Chiefs, the Patriots win the fucking Super Bowl. But people would crash out, I think. I think people would quit watching. I think we'd actually make it so, like, several people would just, like, several thousand people would quit the game of football, and that'd be beautiful. Then we'd be bad. By the way, this would be it. We would never win another Super Bowl with Drake May. If this happens, that's the worst shit that could probably happen to us, because we'll never win another one. Now, if we fail, which will probably most likely, we'll probably not, you know, whatever. Then we'll be a good team. But I really think if this happens, it would be a bad omen for the success, the long-term success of this team. But we'd be the best team in the NFL, so I'd be pretty happy. Chargers, Bills. Okay. I don't think either of those you guys make it out the wild card, but that'd be an interesting wild card. That'd be interesting. 2 wild cards. I guess the 1 and the 2 seeds are probably the most beatable 1 and 2 seeds that the AFC's had in a while. But again, I don't know. They just kept winning all year. The Bills never had an easy game versus the Patriots. Like, sure, the Bills were the only good team we beat this year, but you also have to consider the fact that they barely beat us. They needed a miracle to beat us in that second game. Like a total systems collapse. So I don't know. It's one of these interesting situations where it's like, man, the Patriots are extremely well coached with Josh McDaniels and Mike Vrabel. 6 and 7 seeds, 6, 7. Oh, like all across, it's just the 6, 7 seeds. We'd all be so happy. I'm gonna get some. No, you're good, Fernando. Have a good night, man. This actually turned into be a pretty good stream for a non-game stream. We have 9 likes. That's really good. We may hit double digits. We're at almost 50 views. Sheesh, look at me. I'm a big-ass streamer now. Get out of the way, Tom Grossi. You got a competition now. All 6 of us here. Dante Moore draft stock is def going down right now. What's happening? Is he having a badass game? I don't really know any of the players. Still, I know Mendoza, and he's going to be a good NFL quarterback, isn't he? I really like what I see out of him when I've seen Mendoza play. He that translates right to the NFL, I think. Quick reads, quick release, good footwork. Seems pretty mobile. I don't know. Some people are trying to tell me he's not going to be good, and it's like, guys, I don't know. He's like 6'5". Like, it's kind of Justin Herbert-y, not a stronger arm. Patriots are 4-0 on primetime games. Predict Broncos and Packers. Okay, be major. Okay. Broncos, Packers, kind of a classic feeling Super Bowl like Patriots, Rams would be. Be honest. Would any of you guys root for the Patriots if they made it to the Super Bowl because of Mike Vrabel and Drake May? Like a little bit. Everybody likes Mike Vrabel. And everybody seems to like Drake May. It's going to be real hard to hate it. See, that's the son of a bitch, isn't it? It's not Brett Belichick and Brady, two of the easiest guys you could ever hate. We have two of the most likable people maybe in the NFL kind of on this team. Vrabel's incredibly likable, just a ball lover. No, you'd be rooting against. Yeah, I know you can't. You're a Chargers fan. Fair enough. I like the consistency. Yeah, because no offense to any of you guys, I wouldn't be able to root for your team. Well, if the Browns made a run, I'd be kind of cheering, as long as we're not a victim of it. I wouldn't be too impressed if the Browns went on a run. Chargers, yeah, I would be rooting against you guys for the rest of the playoffs if you beat us, just to be honest. So, at least we're both being honest. Now, if we didn't have to play each other in the playoffs, it might be a different story, because I actually don't really have any problem with the Chargers. Now, politics. You do know we have a playoff history, though, right? Some all-time great Chargers teams have come up against my Patriots, and they've fallen every time to the sword. Do you think this time will be different? We took out that LT team. Phillip Rivers, Antonio Gates. Some of the great wide receivers on that team as well. I can't remember them off the top of my head. Yeah, that's fair. No, that's fair. That's the correct way to be. 3-0. You guys, we shouldn't have beat you guys in 2018. You guys were expected to fucking slaughter us in that game. You remember that? The same talk around this game. Patriots don't got the team to do it. They can't stop the Chargers offense. Boy, I remember the way the people talked about us before that playoff game. We were bones to be picked. The dynasty was well over. We were too old. All of our players were too old and slow. That was the last great year of being a Patriots fan, let me tell you. Till this year, this has been a great year. Oh, I still remember those games. Then we went to Kansas City and beat the Chiefs. Then we played the most Super Bowl in the world against the Los Angeles Rams. Beat them 13-3. What a great season. That was my first year streaming football too. That was awesome. Yeah, that's probably a problem. And I don't know. It's kind of hard to, you just kind of got to hope that he plays good in the play. He's played good in big games, so you know what I mean? I don't know. We'll see how he does. This is a big moment for him. Can't we? I don't know. I don't speculate on stuff. Again, I've never really. If you've ever watched my channel, you've never probably ever heard me say about a quarterback, like a young quarterback, rookie. I say it's very unlikely a rookie can win a rookie's never won a Super Bowl, but a second-year quarterback wins them all the time. Or like they can win them. It often does weirdly happen. Purdy, for example, went to a Super Bowl real young. So So I don't really necessarily give a shit about like playoff experience because again, some guys they just hit the ground running. Like, oh well, it's a game, you know. Some guys they crumble. Peyton Manning was really bad in the playoffs right away. Tom Brady was immediately great. It's you know what I mean. There's no fucking way to tell. It's like genuinely there's just it's like a because again you could look to like the way they handle college like bowl games and kind of, but I also don't really think that like shows it because it's like it's not the same, you know. Be like, oh, okay, he's kind of clutch. Like that's all you can really take away. I don't know. I also don't really care when quarterbacks like haven't won yet in the playoffs. Like I wouldn't hold that against Herbert or like when Lamar wasn't winning. You know what I mean? Like I'm like, yeah, I guess that matters, but like I don't know. Like in regular season, I'm like a dead horse. Like no, wins are a quarterback stat in the regular season. Then when it comes to playoffs, I'm like, it's a team effort. We don't give wins and losses to quarterbacks. So I'm a hypocrite. I'm a dirty lion hypocrite about my views on playoff. But again, playoffs to me as a whole, it's like I don't. It's not if you lose, it's not unless your quarterback just has a really bad game. It's never just because of a bad quarterback because you lost in the play. You know what I mean? It's like, yeah, man, if your quarterback just didn't give up 210 rushing yards, you guys would have won that fucking game. They didn't keep the ball away from your offense and make it so you had to every throw had to be perfect, which is like almost impossible to do. My team is desperate to win this year because of our DC Minter, Khalil Mack, and yeah, Khalil Mack may retire. Keenan's probably like on the border. Minter's going to get a head coach job. Yeah, I mean, I get it. Lions were like that last year. And you know what sucks? That desperation fucks teams up. Like, that's bad. And again, when your team is desperate, that's not necessarily a bad thing. But when you go up against a team like New England, you know what I mean? That's brutal. Because when you look at what the Patriots are doing, this is year one of a rebuild. Like, do you want to know what's crazy? Do you know that we have 15 rookies on our roster that play all the time? Like our left guard will be a rookie. Like Jared Wilson will be starting for us because he's healthy again, and our starting left guard is back. He's a rookie. Like, where is it? Let me find it. Trying to find the thing where it has like all the Patriots rookies. Let me see if I can find a tweet for it. Because it's shocking. Like it's almost like, oh no, the Patriots are going to be very good. Oh, here we go. I found it. Like this is something that's and I'm gonna explain to you who's starting and who's not. All of these guys are on the roster. When the Patriots signed cornerback Kobe Minor, Mr. Irrelevant, from their practice squad to the 53-man because he had to play on the roster. And then all 11 of their 2025 draft picks are now on the roster or IR. Add in undrafted free agents, Elijah Ponder, who plays for us regular. Eric Gregory, he plays. CJ Dippery, he blocks when he plays. And Efton Chisholm, he plays as a backup slot receiver. That's 15 overall rookies or 28.3% of the roster. And that was a 14-3 team. Now, of the players who are rookies and who regularly start for us, that is Will Campbell. Travion Henderson is one of our two feature backs. Jared Wilson's our starting left guard. Bora Gallus is our starting kicker. Now, that's 4 of the 11 draft picks. Pretty fucking good. That are starters already. Now, Kyle Williams regularly plays. Woodson regularly plays. He's been our safety a lot this year because we have some injuries, and I think Woodson's a starter too, so make that 5. Farmer gets a regular rotation with Barmore, and Swinson doesn't really play a lot. Bryant doesn't really play a lot. Ashby doesn't really play a lot. I think he does. I think he's our long snapper. And Minor obviously doesn't play a lot, but that's really impressive. But again, we needed 15 rookies to put on the roster, right? So when you think about that, yeah, you better not sign Mekhi Becton. just don't do that. So the Patriots are playing a roster with 28% of the roster is rookies. Now, that's a really good for a team that wound up going 14-3. That's phenomenal what we've done this year. And again, we probably did benefit from an easy schedule. But the thing is, like, that team is probably so, like, again, so in this, we're technically overmatched. Like, the Chargers have a way better roster than us, like with way more experience, right? They've been together. We're in year one of our whole new offense, a whole new defense, a whole new coaching philosophy. Pretty much the whole roster is brand new. Pretty much everybody who starts is like a free agent. Like, the whole thing was rebuilt, right? It was kind of reconstructed. And in the first year, we win the division and go 14-3. We don't need to win a playoff game for this to already be like the greatest rebuild year. Like, if we win a Super Bowl in year one of a rebuild, it's like, oh, we're a dynasty. We're going to be a dynasty. You know what I mean? Like, that's as simple as that. But, like, you know, most likely we don't. Hopefully we can win a playoff game, and if we can win one. So again, back to okay, for sure, man. Yeah, but like one final thing is, like, basically there's no pressure on the Patriots to win this game and a lot of pressure on other teams to beat the Patriots. And I think that'll fuck teams up also. Team with nothing to lose and a very good young team with nothing to lose. But yeah, that's my final kind of thoughts on that game. That puts a little bit of pressure on the Chargers, I think. I think I'm also going to start wrapping up here pretty soon. Is there anything else that I wanted to talk about? Yeah, man, Sunday will be great. See ya. Take it easy, man. Have a great weekend. Stay safe. Let's see. What else is anyone else any specific anything anyone else want to kind of talk about before we get going? We made our Super Bowl playoff predictions. We have our predictions for the week. Those are all very, like, you know, they're the same as our pick'em. These are the picks we made in our pick'em. So, you know, these are all pretty known picks on here. And then it's just like, hey, here's how I think the rest may play out, because why not? Because I'm not really a true fan if I don't pick my team to win the Super Bowl. Oh. How's the college football game going? College football playoff. Let's see. Oh, damn, dude. My boy fucking Mendoza's balling out. He's 10 of 11 with 3 TDs. That's fucking ridiculous, dude. Holy shit, dude. For 110 yards, dog, that's unbelievable. That's some video game shit to have fucking 10 of 11 with 3 TDs. The shit I do in a fucking video game, and I'm like, this isn't realistic. So it looks like it's going to be Indiana versus Miami, which means really Indiana's going to win the national championship. I don't believe it. Mendoza having one of the greatest college football seasons maybe of all time. All right, though, everybody. I think we're going to wrap it up here. I think we had a really good stream here. I appreciate that. We'll be live twice tomorrow, so that'll be fun for the Packers, well, for the football games. And we'll be live twice on Sunday for the Bills, Jaguars, and the Chargers, Patriots. And then hopefully we'll be live for some on Monday night. I have class Monday evening, so I don't know how much of that game I'll be able to do. But we'll try to do most of it, or some of it anyway. I'll see y'all tomorrow. Have a great rest of your night. As always, it's go Lions, go Tigers, and of course, it's always go Patriots. Playoffs coming. Good luck, everybody. Have a good night.